Very good evening, everybody. This is Jyoti back again, live today with a very insightful and a very knowledgeable panel. And especially during this pandemic, when we all are stuck and there are moms who are looking for help, and we see so many moms discussing things. And we've got this breastfeeding awareness week going on. So we have got some amazing panelists who are joining us today, and I'll be shortly introducing all of them to you. And before that, I would, like to read out some lines about breastfeeding, which I read today morning, and I really like them. So they say, I breastfeed. I breastfeed not because I think I am better, not because I think less of the formula feeding moms, not because I want attention, and not because I want to show my breast. I breastfeed. I breastfeed because I couldn't imagine any other way, because my child wants the right nourishment, because this is what the nature intended, because this was what the right choice for my family, because this is what my child wants, and because this is what I can give to my child, because this bonds my child with me. So today we have got some amazing panelists joining us. We have Malwa. Malwa is an international parenting expert, and she is joining us all the way from Canada. Let us welcome her, and then we'll be introducing the other panelists shortly.
Hi,
Very warm
everyone.
welcome, Malwa. How are you doing?
Good. Hello. I'm super happy to see you. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for having me. That was a beautiful quote. Okay, I'm a girly girl, so I had tears in my eyes because it hit a home run. So I hope it also hit a home run with everyone listening because breastfeeding is important.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very, very important. And sometimes, when we become moms, we don't realize it. And later on, when we realize it, it's too late. And that is why the awareness is very, very critical. And we are very, very, happy that today you guys have joined us and shown so much love to the community. And we are talking all about this. So, Malwa, before everybody else is joining in, I would, request you to just give a brief introduction about what all you've been doing. There's so much I read about you on your profile, so I would like you to throw some light to our audience to know more about you. Over to
Oh,
you, Ma.
thank you so very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Malva Gasowski. I'm from Coaching Mother and All. I've been all over the place, to be honest. I am an international best-selling author. I am an international business coach and trainer, and I am a parenting coach and couples counselor. I just love people. So I'm super excited to be here with you because moms have a special place in my heart. I feel that the moment you gave birth to that special bundle, all of a sudden your understanding of love, what it means to love someone, elevated to a level that you never thought possible prior to giving birth to your child. So, as a parenting coach, I totally understand how important that is. Furthermore, as a mom of three, I really do understand what mom love is towards our children. And there are times when we're extremely tired, but love is still shining through our eyes, through our smiles, and we would give our life if anything else there was to give to our children. That is why the awareness for breastfeeding is quite important because of this tension and anxiety that young moms have, because on one hand they love their children so very much, and on the other hand they feel so much pressure because they are in the lost or in the gray area of not actually knowing how to do something or how to go about creating this bond, and they are getting frustrated. So we are super happy to be here with all of you, and to actually create this awareness of breastfeeding is actually a God sent gift to every single mom. And if she can, she should use it. And if she doesn't want to or cannot, she should not be shamed. So, whatever your choice is, it is amazing that you are trying to give the best that you physically and mentally can towards your child. As for me, I have been supporting parents as a parenting coach for over 10 years. So I'm super happy to be the first time guest at Ma to Mom. Hopefully, this is just going to be the beginning.
Absolutely amazing, Malwa. So good to see you. Your smile only reaches me, and a big hug to you to show all the support to us. I would like to mention our support partners, Impact Health and Kulpit Fedi, to give us so much support to us and getting us connected. So it's amazing. Malwa, before other panelists join us, I would throw out the first question which I have for you, and I always thought that I am going to ask any expert about it. How important it is to breastfeed with all the love, because when we are breastfeeding, sometimes we've gone through C sections. We are a new mom. There's so much anxiety and all that, and in that anxiety only, most of the moms that. Going through it and breastfeeding the baby, so how important it is to have the right mindset while we are breastfeeding is my question to you.
It's crucial, but it's not only for breastfeeding, but parenting as a whole. Our children, if you can imagine the situation. You are a whole with your child. Your child is in your body, connected to your body. So everything that you're eating, that you're feeling, that you're experiencing, your child experiences with you. And it also means that the moment you give birth, that bond doesn't go away. Your child still believes that he or she is one with you until the, separation anxiety kicks in. So at the very beginning, when you have given birth, either naturally or through C-section, I have never had the privilege to give birth naturally. I had 3 C-sections, so I know in how much pain moms are. And, having a child breastfeed is on one hand the most glorious thing to experience in those first minutes of postpartum, but on the other hand, a few minutes later or even a few hours later, you realize that you're not only in pain physically because of giving birth, but because your breasts hurt. And that is where all of the doctors, lactation consultants, or the nurses come into play to actually help you and assist you. And I'm super happy that I had a great team with me, because hadn't it not been for them, maybe my breastfeeding journey would be different. So mindset is crucial, but make sure to know that you're not alone. You have others to help you.
Yeah, I can't hear her. I can't hear her. I can't hear her.
Yeah, sorry. I was on mute. So it is a journey of getting along with the child. So it's very, very important that we develop that kind of a bonding with the child. And I know it is tough when we go through C-section, or even if it is a natural delivery. I think, Malwa, every mother is a new mom, and the first timers are in a very, very critical state because they don't know all over how to deal with the scenario. Dr. Saxena has joined us, our next panelist.
Hello,
very, very warm welcome to
Hi,
you,
hi,
sir.
hi. Good evening.
We are honored to have you today and spreading awareness for our community mothers. Dr. Saxena is the neonatologist from Manipal Hospital, Delhi, and we are very glad to have you, sir. I would just request you to give a little brief about yourself to the mommy of our community so that they know you more.
Okay. Firstly, I feel immensely delighted and humble because to me, mothers are next to God, and to be getting a chance to learn from their experiences, to be getting a chance to know how they feel about things has been all along this journey a very, very educated experience. So firstly, I feel very, very humble and very, very delighted to be getting this chance to speak to them. One. Well, I've been a pediatrician and a neonatologist, that means a newborn specialist. And I've been a teacher most of my life. I've been a professor of pediatrics at Armed Forces Medical College, Pune, which is in Pune, is better known as AFMC Pune, and Army College Medical Science, Delhi, and Army Hospital R&R, Research and Referral. And more than that, I've been teaching, but my passion has been hands-on neonatology. Have been working with these tiny ones, and I shared with one of your colleagues last time that once you have done the hard work in the NICU, then it's such a joy to be interacting with normal newborns and their mothers. So that's my journey in brief.
That's fabulous. You've got so much experience. I'm sure the mommies are going to, get a lot of insights about breastfeeding, about, how much nutrition a child needs and how they should deal with the entire scenario. We are glad that Dr. Zeenal has also joined in. So very, very warm welcome, Dr. Zeenal. It's been long that I wanted to have something, some conversation with you for the mommies, but it's never too late. So today, finally, we have you here. Dr. Zeenal is one of the most renowned lactation consultant in Mumbai, and we are glad and honored to have her here. And I would like Dr. Zeenal to throw some light, something about you to the people who are joining us today.
Hello, everybody. Very good evening. Thank you, Jyoti, for this opportunity, and thank you, Tejal and Namrata. I'm sorry to be late, but I had some network issues. I think because of the rains, there has been a
Yes,
lot of
yes.
network issues. I'm very sorry to be late. Otherwise, I don't like to be late. So I'm very passionate about babies, and I think I can see Dr. Brigadier Sir here. I feel that babies should get the right start, okay, and in their journey, okay, when they are new in this world, to give them the right food, to give them the right upbringing. Okay, so as a pediatrician, I have worked hard to this endeavor, okay, that babies get the best and mothers are helped in this journey of motherhood. So that is what my life is all about, and I love doing it. And I'm very, very happy to make a change to a lot of people's lives.
Wow, that's amazing, Dr. Zeenal. We are so glad to have, you, Dr. Saxena, and Amalwa for this very insightful session. My first question goes to you, Dr. Zeenal. I would like to ask you, how should, mommies think about breastfeeding in a positive manner, and how should they deal with the thing when it just has to start in the beginning, the first few days or minutes, how to deal with the entire thing.
Okay. So, this is like a journey. As I was saying, it's not a destination. Okay. There's a very beautiful saying that you have to enjoy the journey, not the destination. So motherhood is a journey. Okay. So in this journey, if you have the right information, if you have the right support, like if I have to drive down from here to Alibag, and if I know the route, I'm going to go very swiftly. If I don't know the route, I will keep asking people and I will keep making mistakes. Same way in this journey of your motherhood, if you know whether you're on the right track, if you have the right support system around you, and you are motivated enough, okay, then you can be bang on and you can breastfeed your babies the way you want it. So it is about your journey, it is about your breastfeeding goals. But what I have seen of late, no, Jyoti, a lot of mothers are facing problems. I think in our culture in India, it is said that breastfeeding is not to be taught. Okay, our grandmothers, our mothers have been doing for generations and generations. That why is it now that we are seeing this change? I think this change has come in because somewhere too much of lifestyle, focus, motivation, and intention. These things have changed. Okay, so mothers need to bring back the focus to the babies, bring the focus back to the breastfeeding, and be motivated enough to do it.
I think well said. It is very important to be focused, to be motivated, and I think the family also needs to, be a very very strong support. So that is also one thing I think
Absolutely.
Dr.
Yes.
Zinal sometimes that they are going through lots on her own, and the family support is also needed. My next question goes to you, Dr. Saxena. That what kind of nourishment is there in the first milk and of the mom, which is much spoken about, that it is very very important to give the first milk to the babies. So what nutritions that does that carry, if the mommies come to know, so they would understand the importance of that. So can you unmute yourself?
All right. Is it okay now? Can you hear me? Right. I think all of you must have seen Amir Khan video, which was in circulation some time ago, and he talked about colostrum. So we've all heard about colostrum, that watery milk, that's absolute magic and absolute, we call it amrit in our in our country, in our culture. So that's full of antibodies, but it does, and full of many other protective factors. And what I want you to know is these factors, they go directly into the baby system through the gaps between the intestinal cells. they don't have to be absorbed in their traditional manner. So first 14 days, if baby gets that milk, he gets protection much more than what he or she would get subsequently. So colostrum is full of, let's call it, anti-infective factor. Let's call it, because there are so many number and so difficult to describe, you know. So let's call them, but it also has all the nutritive factors that the baby needs. So right from the day one, mom's milk has all the baby needs to subserve his or her nutritional needs. So that's what it is. Can't hear you.
Yeah, this is a lot of time spoken about, so I think this is very useful. I would come back again to you, Dr. Zeenal. I have I have come to know that you're very, very passionate about lactation, and there are times then when adoption happens, there are times when there is surrogacy, and still mommies want to breastfeed. Is that possible? Is my next question to you, Dr. Zeenal.
Okay, so breastfeeding is something which is hormone dependent and it is not pregnancy dependent. So even if I give the particular medication to a person who's a grandmother or who's a father, even that person will produce milk. So the good news is that anybody can breastfeed, because the milk, as we say here, as we talk during the breastfeeding week right now, what we all are celebrating, most important advantage of breastfeeding is the bonding, right? Is the sense of security what you're going to give to your baby. So a mother who's actually having a baby through a surrogacy or adoption does go through a lot of guilt, and there is a lot of failure feeling within her which she wants to overcome. So as a mother, if she breastfeeds her, that gives her that satisfaction that, oh, I'm doing something for my baby. And in our society, there's a lot of stigma associated with adoption and surrogacy still. So she feels that, okay, I'm doing something for my baby, I'm bonded to my baby, and the immunity what she can give to her baby is amazing. So yes, it is possible. And in fact, I'm one of the pioneers in India. I must have helped more than 150 mothers to do during this process. When I went to the United States for doing my lactation training in 2010, I realized that this was possible, and that point surrogacy boom was just picking up in India. And I felt this is such an amazing thing what a woman can feel, that even though she is not delivering her baby, she can breastfeed her baby. So yes, it is very much possible. And I have had excellent success rates. I would say that 74 out of 100 babies have latched on to their mummies.
Wow, that's great. Because I came to know about this and I thought this is very important and we should talk about
Yes.
it, because not everybody is aware that a mom who is adopted or a mom who is got a baby through surrogacy can also breastfeed. So I think this is very informative for the mommies who are joining us today. I come back to Malwa again. Malwa, because you are an expert in parenting and you've been breastfeeding, and you believe in breastfeeding. What tips you would like to give to the mommies while they are breastfeeding and they have a lot of stress, anxiety, through which they are going through? What are the tips? What are the 5 tips, if I would say, you suggest them to be in the right mind frame to breastfeed the babies? Is what I would like to throw
Well,
some light.
first and foremost, you have everything your baby needs. So be calm. Okay. You are a miracle creator. You either just gave birth to that child or you just adopted that child, giving him a loving home or her a loving home. So your first mindset is you as a mom are amazing. Second mindset is you're not alone. Okay. Meaning you've got your partner, your family, your friends, and most importantly, you've got specialists around you that are able to actually give you help and advice if you only seek it. So make sure that you open your eyes because there are people around you. Third piece of advice is exactly what Dr. Sanex said. The first milk is most important, and it doesn't matter the amount. Okay. A lot of moms are very stressed because they try to squeeze their breasts and their nipples and they're like, oh my goodness, it's just a drop. That drop is enough. Okay. It's a golden drop for your child. Your child doesn't need nutrition by the bottles, like 100 or 200 milliliters for the child to be fed. And that is where one of the biggest issues are at the hospital, to be honest, because in the modern world of Canada, United States, and Europe, for example, nurses are very quick and keen on giving formulas to the moms to give to their babies. And then instead of, for example, 14 or 15 milliliters of breast milk, the first breast milk that is crucial for the immunity and the intestine of the baby, they get formula, and they get 30 or 40 milliliters of more formula. And then they wonder, how come my child, after being breastfed, starts crying because he or she wants more, but after having formula, he or she is fully asleep for, let's say, 2-3 hours? Well, think about it. If you as an adult only need a bowl of soup, then if you are going to eat 5 bowls of soup, wouldn't you be just lying down on the sofa, food drunk and not wanting food for a longer period of time? Well, that's exactly what happens with formula-fed babies, because babies are learning to latch on. They're learning how to drink, and milk from the breast doesn't flow as freely at the very beginning as it does from a bottle. So moms have this bad illusion of if the child eats 30 milliliters of formula, then he or she is better off. No, he or she is overfed. And that's why a lot of children, for example, throw up and, get rid of the excess of food. The third point is, your child doesn't need a lot of milk at the very beginning. So after the 3rd or 4th day, the child starts crying and wants to latch on. It doesn't mean that the child is hungry. You have to take under consideration nature here. Your child knows naturally, instinct, I don't know how, because this isn't tested yet, because it's not possible, but your child instinctively knows that he or she needs to start sucking and needs to start the milk production, so that later on, when the hunger kicks in and a lot of the milk is needed, that has already happened, because the child is bonding emotionally and learning to latch on to kind of create the milk production. So sometimes you will go through phases as a mom where you think that the only thing you've been doing for the past 3 hours or 3 days or 3 weeks is feeding your baby, and you're like a walking soother. Yes, that is normal. Your child is going to be going through a growth spurt, and so it is saying, all right, I'm going to need more milk, so I might as well start creating that production now. So that's the 4th tip. And last but not least, it's the 5th. When your child has woken up from a nap and is starting to show you signs that he or she is hungry, that is the time to give your child food. A lot of parents wait for the child to start screaming, and that child, when screaming, is very hard to soothe because of all of the emotional distress. So pay attention as a mom, pay attention to your child. When your child starts sucking their tongue or starts putting fists in their mouths and starts sucking to show you that he or she is looking for the teat, so for the breast, then you might as well try and offer that breast to that child to see if this is what he or she wants, because it's easier to feed a calm child, because just like us as adults trying to eat a meal, if we are calm and happy, that meal tastes better and we're able to actually feed the child, as opposed to that child swallowing so much air and then having problems with the digestive system, and then the burping and other stuff come into play. So like I said, these are the 5 tips. Just to sum them up, you're not alone. You're a miracle worker. You've got people around you. Make sure that you know you have everything what you need to help your child, and be easy. Your child will let you know what they need, but just listen to them.
Thank you so much. That was very insightful. I think, Malva, you covered everything what is needed. And I go back to Dr. Saxena. Dr. Saxena, there are a lot of times when, mothers are busy, or they're working, or, there are other things which they are busy with. So there are a lot of times I've heard moms extracting milk and keeping, and then later daddy's feeding or whatsoever. So does that milk loses its nutrition for the child, is my question to you.
Right. Now, see, storage for some time, especially when you don't give any heat treatment to it, usually, and it is almost impossible for a working mother to be breastfeeding her baby all the time. So some nutrition does stick onto the glass, right? But a few vitamins may be lost. But by and large, having said that, there's nothing like own mother's fresh breast milk. We call it OMM, own mother's milk. And if it is fresh, the fresher it is, the better it is for many reasons. But it is certainly, still is enough for the baby's needs. So some nutritional, loss may take place, some of the cells may be lost, but by and large, it still retains much of its properties. But yes, the fat does stick onto the walls. The fat, for example, does stick on. So if it stays for a long time, there may be some loss of nutrition. But if you store it for 4 hours or 6 hours, nothing would happen. And it's not practically, because in our NICU, for example, mothers, they are not staying in the NICU. So they send across the milk and we keep in the refrigerator for maybe 6 or 8 hours for that matter. So one
So the
can
mother,
manage.
the mother's milk, even if it is stored, it might lose some of the things, but still it's fine that we
Still
can
it is
store
enough. Still it's enough. Just ensure that you store it properly at the right
properly.
temperature, right temperature, and see that the way you touch the containers, the way give it to the baby. There is no breach of the hygiene. That's what is important to me, rather
Okay.
than any nutritional impairment of the milk.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's very useful information because there are a lot of moms who extract milk. I come back to Dr. Zenal. I would like to ask you, what can one do with sore nipples? How do mothers feed when they have a lot of pain while feeding the baby? This is a problem which lot of mothers actually face. So
A
how
lot
they
of
should do
mothers. So actually, to be very honest, breastfeeding doesn't hurt. That's a tagline. Okay, breastfeeding doesn't hurt. So if your breastfeeding is hurting you, okay, when your baby sucks or you're getting sore nipples, that means something is not going right.
Okay.
Okay, you need to get your latch assessed. Now, there's one simple way I explain the latch to everybody. I'll do it quickly in a minute so that the mothers who are watching me will feel better. Now, if this is the breast and this is the baby's mouth, so if you see, this is the tongue of the baby and this is the upper palate of the baby. Now the baby actually latches on the areola, which is the black portion, and not on the nipple. So nipple helps in teat formation, but actually areola plays a major role in teat formation. So to understand this, the baby needs to grab the breast, create a negative suction over here, and then do this how we normally drink from a straw. So if I'm drinking from a straw, if my seal formation is not correct, I won't be able to drink. Same way, the baby's seal has to be intact on the baby mother's areola for the baby to drink. And then the mouth of the baby fills in, then the chin portion of the baby comes down, and then the baby gulps milk. So in this process, okay, it is the areola where the baby actually latches. But if the baby lands up latching on the nipple, okay, then the nipples start getting sore, and that is when breastfeeding starts hurting and the mother complains. Sometimes even the blood comes out. It is so painful that mothers cry. Okay, so to prevent this, the first thing you have to do is correct your position. The first principle of breastfeeding is the baby comes to you and you don't go down to the baby. This is the mistake where a lot of mothers do, Jyoti. So they will take a feeding pillow like this, they will keep a pillow, and then they will go and breastfeed like this. So you are not supposed to bend down on the babies. The babies are supposed to come to you. And try and give your baby a deeper latch. And this you can do by elevating the head of the baby a little bit so that the baby is not in this position. The baby shouldn't be supine completely, but the baby should be slant. And try and make the baby grab the areola like a sandwich technique. Like I give this example of a burger to everybody. If you have to eat a big burger, how do we eat? We squeeze and we open our mouth and we go closer to the burger. Same principle. So if your latch is corrected, you will not get sore nipples. But in case you are getting sore nipples, there are multiple remedies which we recommend, which are very easy. One is just apply some amount of hind milk on it. Second, let it air. Let your nipples get some air, because all the times we keep ourselves covered so the nipple doesn't get air. Third is you can use some good virgin coconut oil, or some nice oil which is going to be working on your nipples. And fourth, you get pure lanolin applications which can be used. But as I said, doing these applications is not the permanent solution. The permanent solution is correcting your latch. getting your baby to grab the breast in the right way so that your nipples don't hurt.
So they say it all comes naturally, but there is so much more to it. I think Malva wants to say something. Yes,
Yeah,
Malva.
it's actually funny what Dr. Zinal said, that breastfeeding doesn't hurt unless your child bites off a little bit of your nipple in
I
the
didn't
first
mention
minute.
teething.
In the
I
first
didn't mention teething over here because
So
teething
I
is a different
totally agree
discussion by
that
itself.
if the baby doesn't do it correctly and the mummy doesn't do it correctly, you need to look at the technique, because that
Yes.
too is very important. I don't know about you, but I found out that actually using your own breast milk as the ointment and letting it air dry
I said that. Yes.
actually
That's
helps
very
a lot
effective.
too. Yeah.
Yes. That few drops of mother's milk works the best. Yes, that works the best.
So what are your tips, Dr. Zinal? I'll come back to you again. What are your five tips for the lactating mothers, which you will say that what five pointers they should get from you today, which they should follow while they are breastfeeding their babies, especially the first time moms, because what I'm reading in comments are when they delivered the second baby, they were still little wiser to deal with the entire scenario, but when they were the first time moms, they didn't knew how to deal with the situation. So what would be your five pointers for these mommies?
Okay, so most important, okay, the first pointer is know what you are doing is right. Okay, so exclusively breastfeed your babies for at least 6 months and continue breastfeeding till 2 years of age. So a lot of mothers don't land up going there. So that's the first important thing I would want to convey, that don't give up. It's a very easy thing. You're doing the best for your baby and you're giving your baby a very strong foundation to grow on. You're going to protect your baby against so many diseases, illnesses, your visits to your pediatricians, and at the same time, it is going to help you lose weight. So I'm sure some of you all are struggling right now. So if you breastfeed, you lose at least 500 calories in a day, which if you're exercising, you'll know how much energy it takes to lose 500 calories in a day. So the first thing is do exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months and continue breastfeeding till a minimum of 2 years of age. Okay, you can do beyond that also. Okay, the second most important thing is initiation. If you all have not already reached there, see to it that as sir also very nicely mentioned, that colostrum is the first immunization of your baby, and in our country majoritarily a lot of hospitals don't offer this to the babies and the babies are straight given formula. So see to it that you tell your gynac, tell your obstetrician, tell the staff nurse, tell your husbands that I want to breastfeed my baby in the operation theater or in the labor room. So initiation is the most important thing. Third and most important thing, which I feel, which I'm seeing a lot, is don't doubt your milk supply. Okay, a lot of mothers feel that milk is not coming out, I don't see milk. So you don't need to feel see milk. Okay, sometimes mothers say, doctor, मेरा शर्ट गीला नहीं हो रहा है, या तो मेरे को feel नहीं हो रहा है. So it is okay if you don't see the wetness. It is okay if you don't have to feel the fullness. If your baby is drinking, if your baby is satisfied, what I mean by the baby being satisfied is you will see a satisfied, happy look on the baby's face. So after a feed, the baby looks content. Okay, the baby is still not doing searching this for the breast, like as Malva very nicely explained, that the baby keeps searching. The baby tries to communicate with expressions. So learn to identify those expressions of your baby. And if you are giving a good feed, the baby will have a content look on the baby's face. Second important thing is the urine output of the baby. So if the baby passes minimum 8 times urine in 24 hours, that means you are doing a great job. Okay, that tells you that okay, my breast milk is going enough. So understand that nobody in this world can measure breast milk. So you can't remove and say, okay, how much ml has my baby, drunk. So the fourth important thing is don't go by numbers. Don't go by only numbers of ml of milk. Like, some people have this habit of expressing and measuring. Is my baby drinking 60? Is my baby drinking 90? Like sometimes I may eat one chapati, sometimes I may eat three chapatis. That's my decision. That's my body. Same way, babies are different. At times, baby may need more. At times, the baby is a little sleepy and baby might just be, okay, I'm done. So let the baby decide how much the baby wants and don't go by numbers. So I am one pediatrician who doesn't believe too much into numbers of weights also. So weight is important, but you don't only let your mind go by numbers. This is a very important message for all your new mummies, because a lot of mothers also put an alarm. Okay, it's 2 hours, it's time for my baby to feed and let me wake my baby up. Don't do that. Follow on demand breastfeeding. Okay, so you need to decide when the baby is sleeping, even you sleep. You are a human being, not a robo. Even you need enough rest. So see to it that you make your cycle in such a way that you and your baby both are happy. The diet both should be happy and enjoying it. So don't stress by the time and don't stress by the numbers. That is the fourth important message. And the fifth important message is ask for help. Lot of times people don't ask for help. So if you feel, don't feel ashamed, don't feel embarrassed. I am proud to say that when I became a lactation consultant in India in 2009, I'm one of the first few lactation consultants. There were none. Today we are 87 lactation consultants in India. So yeah, there is help. Please take help. And now with this COVID pandemic, we all have learned to be on digital platform. At least talk to people and reach for help. Talk to your friends, talk to your family if you are stressed or if you are into anxiety, and all your problems will just go off. So these are the most important messages I would like to give.
Insightful, Dr. Zeenal, very insightful. I think you've covered almost everything, and I think this will be very helpful to mothers to understand how to deal with the entire scenario. I go back to Dr. Saxena, and I've always heard that we should give water or we should not give water. Till what time we shouldn't give water to the child is always spoken about. So till what age of the child you think we should not give water, and if we are not giving, why so? Why is
Right.
that suggested?
Very,
Would be
very
my
good question that you
Dr.
asked. Just
Saxena.
consider 87% of milk is water. So let's presume a 3 kg baby who's drinking about 500 ml of milk to begin with. So he's drinking virtually about how much? 5 into 87 is how much? About you can drink about 400 plus ml of water for a 3 kg baby. That's like Malwa drinking something like 9 or 10 liters of water, weight for weight. So babies get a lot of water through milk. So the entire water requirements are fulfilled through the breast milk itself. That's one. Remember one thing. Second thing is, if you give water, especially in our country, so firstly, why should you give it? Baby doesn't need water. He is getting more than his share or his needs through breast milk itself. One. Two, in our country, when you give it, you might introduce infection. The third thing about, breast milk vis-a-vis anything else is, when you try to give anything else, whether it's water or as Malwa talked about some time back about formula for that matter, it does decrease the production of breast milk. So it's lose on all three fronts if you give water to the baby. So baby doesn't need it. Even in the hottest of hot summers, and I've been in the armed forces, I've served in, let's say in Jodhpur, desert of Jodhpur, or in Jhansi, where temperature would shoot up to 50 degrees Celsius. Even there, I never ever felt the need of giving water to a breastfed baby.
And after 6 months, how they should, get in the food for babies, and how they should get the nutrition in,
Okay.
doctor.
I think Zeenal touched upon it some time back, and I'm with it. I have a very simple line. I say for first 6 months the only food is mama's milk, and after 6 months, at least till 1 year of age. I say at least 1 year of age, even though it's desirable to continue till 2 years, as Zeenal said, but till at least 1 year of age, if the mother has been successful at exclusive breastfeeding, let mother's milk be the only milk that she gives. So that means it doesn't happen that at 6 months, bingo, you stop breastfeeding and you start something else. No, you continue with breastfeeding, and there are reasons for it. One, that breast milk continues to be a substantial amount of baby's nutrition. What we have seen is that she may be producing nearly about 700 to 800 ml of milk. And that comes in very handy when baby has some minor illness, let's say some fever or some loose motions or cough. He or she stops eating everything, but he or she continues to breastfeed.
True.
So that fulfills her requirement during this illness of water and nutrition. That's one. Secondly, all the benefits that the breast milk has continue to accrue to the baby during second 6 months. Thirdly, if you introduce, let's say, formula, you might introduce what is called cow's milk allergy. And when you do that, the supply of breast milk dwindles. That's one. So you talk about what else do we give besides. So one is that if the mother is feeding the baby exclusively, please do not start any formula right now. One. If she was giving some breast milk and which was not enough, please continue with this breastfeeding, whatever you are having. Now, what else to start? Well, we have three things that I feel are very, very important. One is the food should be calorie dense, protein rich, and iron fortified, because in our country especially, iron deficiency is a big issue. So I have my own recipe for starting what is called complementary food introduction. So it is not weaning. Wean means that you are weaning the baby away from breastfeeding. No, we are not doing that. So after 6 months, baby continues with breastfeeding, but we start solid food. We should have calories, proteins, and iron. I don't think this talk would kind of would allow me to go into details of my plan of a complementary food introduction, but these are broad principles.
There is some question from one of the viewers who want to ask Dr. Saxena, if we start water, how to give normal water or
Right.
warm water?
Firstly, first 6 months, if your baby is, in any case, your baby doesn't need water. Now, after 6 months, if you feel that baby is taking substantial amount of solid food, there's a time that you may introduce some water. You may just offer to the baby. Though I'm not somebody very, very keen, even by 7 months, baby would mostly be on breast milk. So, see, the issue in our country is that the water supply quality from taps, unlike where Malwa lives, is that is not very reliable. That's not very reliable. So in case you're using it, kindly use boiled cool water and let it be as little as possible. He or she would fulfill his or her own requirements. So I would prefer, in case you start after 6 months, some boiled cool water if you choose to give it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Saxena. There is a question, Dr. Zinal. I would like if you can take that question. Should a woman stop breastfeeding when she is sick? So, in what scenario she decides that should she breastfeed or not?
Okay. So this is another very important myth. Good that you asked this question, that can a mother breastfeed when she is sick or when she is ill? So let me tell you, breastfeeding is amrut. Okay, in Sanskrit it is called amrut, and they say that anything you take amrut, your health becomes better. So if you have to continue breastfeeding whether you or your baby is sick. Now, if a mother is sick, most of the common things what the doctor gives is either anti-inflammatories or paracetamols or some painkillers or sometimes antibiotics, or you have problem of a tooth or problem of appendix. Most of the problems, okay, breastfeeding should continue even if the mother has cough or cold. I get this question every now and then. Now, what are the actual contraindications of breastfeeding? The actual contraindications of breastfeeding are real, REAL. This means that if the mother is on any R for radioactive treatment, E is for ergots, okay, A is for alkaloids, okay, and L is for lithium. So this means that unless and until the mother is suffering from diseases like cancer or psychiatric diseases where the mother is having some medications which cannot be given to the baby, breastfeeding should continue. Now, the most important thumb rule over here is that any medication you take, okay, any medication you take, only 1% of it passes into the breast milk. So your milk is so good, you imagine that your body actually doesn't let the medicine go into the baby. So you are safe, your baby is safe. And in this current situation of pandemic also, let me tell you that if the mother is suffering from COVID-19, then also she can successfully breastfeed her baby even though she is on any medications, and unless and until that mother is in a critical condition where she cannot get up and either express her breast milk or directly breastfeeding, we continue breastfeeding even during this COVID pandemic. So you can imagine how good breastfeeding is.
I think good that you got this point in, that even if a mother is COVID positive, she can breastfeed the child. I think a lot of mothers were having this question, and I read also this somewhere amongst one of our city chapter groups. So good you brought this point. I think there's some more question coming in. If we start semi-solid food, what should be the food? First food. Is there any suggestion to that? I think Dr. Saxena has already touched upon
Yeah.
it. Do you have any suggestions, Dr. Zinal, that what food we should give?
Okay, so we recommend after, as Dr. Saxena said, that it's a long topic to discuss complementary feeding. But in short,
Absolutely,
if I have to
absolutely.
say that we should start food which is natural, most important, food which is pureed, so you don't have to necessarily put it into the mixer. So you can give like a carrot puree or an apple puree or a pear puree. So these are natural things. Third thing is it should be a variety. You can't give same apple 4 times a day. Fourth thing, it should be of different textures. So children between 6 to 9 months, we need to start complementary feeding. Sorry, we need to start the food other than what the mother's milk the baby is taking. So here we need to make the baby exposed to different tastes and a variety and different textures. And you can start any pureed fruit and any pureed vegetable. But I tell most of my patients that please stick to the fruits and the vegetables which are local, which are grown locally. Don't go and import and eat something which is not in the season. So eat something which is local, okay, and eat something which is of high nutrition value. And you have to, once you go beyond fruits and vegetables, you have to balance by giving grains, pulses, cereals, and good amount of proteins and some amount of fats. So in India we say that ghar ka ghee is the best source of fat. So you can add ghee, you can add dry fruits, and you can add a lot of cereals and pulses, and you can give it in a pureed form. And most important thing over here is to practice baby-led feeding. What I mean by baby-led feeding is that let the baby learn to eat with his own hands. It's like imagine somebody shoving food into your mouth day in and day out. You will start hating it. You will run away. You'll say, I don't want to eat this. So very important. Babies are very inquisitive. Okay, all babies learn by imitation. I think all babies love to talk on this mobile phone, and babies love to see TV and play with the TV remote. So babies are learning. So your babies will learn to eat if you allow them. If the mothers complain that doctor kahan bhai nahi aati hai, ghar ki saaf safai kaun karega? So that is not the thing. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of mothers are saying कि फटाफट मैं खिला दूं तो उसको खिलाऊंगी तो सब नीचे गिराएगा.
जल्दी
Let
खा
the
लेगा,
baby
ज्यादा खा लेगा.
explore. Let the baby learn, and let the baby learn to pick up and eat with his own hands, and that will give that satisfaction, and the food will actually be of value. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Doctor very nicely explained. I come back to Malwa now. Malwa, I have this question to you, that entire pregnancy a mom goes through alone, and by her expression and by her feelings, she tries to involve the dad. Now, again, when she's breastfeeding, it's the emotion connect between the mom and the child. How do you think she should involve her partner into it, so that he also understands the bond and the entire feeling of breastfeeding, and he is also supportive for his wife or partner to breastfeed the baby right and in the right head? How
Well,
do you suggest them to deal with it?
on one hand, we would like to have the dads included in the bonding, emotional bonding between, let's say, the child and the father. But just like the father can't be pregnant, just like the father can't breastfeed, and the mother does that. So, although I am very for, gender equality, let's not expect the dad to have the same role towards that child as the mom does. First of all, it's the mom that did the 9 months of pregnancy. The hormones like oxytocin had helped mom actually bond with the baby. The dad didn't get that. Okay, so mom, you just won a lottery ticket with all the hormones inside your brain and your body helping you connect with your child. The dad needs a little bit time. So mom, the best thing that you can do is actually not be angry at the dad for not loving and caring for the child as much as you do, because you got the lottery ticket. Dad didn't. Dad has to get used to the child. The dad, he will start bonding with the child as time comes. And it is your job as a mom to actually show him how to do it with kindness. If you do it with anger and shouting, then the association won't be positive. It will be rather negative. So instead of saying, why don't you sit here with me when I'm breastfeeding because you're never around? Why don't you say, hey, honey, can you come see? Come, look at that child having this, milk drunk face and all of the expression going on the baby's face, because you can actually see the amazing facial expressions of the child being super happy for actually being fed. So that is the one thing that is necessary to understand. With positive relationships between the mom and the child, the same importance needs to be put between the positive relationship of the mom and the dad. Like I said, moms, you've got everything the baby needs, meaning the baby doesn't need the dad, okay? But don't tell the dad, go away. Let the dad feel useful by saying, for example, sweetheart, can you bring me a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever you're drinking at the time, making him feel useful in this relationship where he actually feels useless because, mom, you're doing everything. So make sure we include dads in it as well, because they would like to bond with the baby. So kangarooing is one of the things. Yes, it's not connected with breastfeeding per se, but if you, mom, finish breastfeeding, let daddy kangaroo the baby. By kangaroo the baby, I mean, daddy, take off your shirt, show your physique, put the baby on your chest, and let yourself breathe and the baby breathe as well. And that actually will eliminate any gas as well, meaning you'll allow the baby to burp, and your breaths will actually allow the baby to have a little massage on the belly, allowing the digestive system to be actually engaged a little bit better with the natural movement and bonding. So everything is possible, but don't expect the dad to do exactly the same thing as the mom, because we are different and we play different roles, but make sure that they're positive ones.
Absolutely fantastic. I think we aim at what we can't get, and you really cleared all this in our heads, that how should we actually deal with it. It was a very, very insightful panel, Dr. Zeenal, Dr. Saxena, and
Add
Malwa.
something?
It's great to, Dr. Zeenal wants to say something. Yes, Dr. Zeenal.
Yeah. So Malwa has put it very beautifully about the role of fathers, but unfortunately, Jyoti, in our culture, somehow fathers are not used to working. Okay, majority of the fathers want to just sit. वो एक आदत है कि पानी का ग्लास भी उनके हाथ में उनको चाहिए. Okay, so I think things are changing now. The fathers are getting more proactive now, and I have kudos to all the fathers who are doing a beautiful job for their wives and for the children. But what I tell most of the parents then is to involve the fathers. Skin to skin contact is excellent, what Malwa said. The second thing is, I tell the fathers to do the baby massage, because in our country, massage is a very common thing. So I tell that, the fathers can take up that role, that they can do the massage very gently with love. So they have some role which they are supposed to play, which is every day to spend that 1 hour with the baby, and mother can get some breathing time.
So we have all the plans how to deal with the dads to get them involved. I think you guys have given amazing tips to the moms, and I'm sure they're going to try all those tips. Dr. Saxena, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, just one last bit, which I always tell my moms. Breastfeeding failures do take place, and surprisingly, they take place in mothers who wanted to breastfeed desperately, very badly. I just tell them, look, it is natural. Let it happen to you. Don't try too hard. And most of them were actually, some of them were either my colleagues' wives, or they were specialists themselves, a radiologist, a microbiologist, a dental surgeon, and they really wanted to breastfeed their babies. So my advisors, it is as Malwa said, is mothers are miracles. So trust yourself, back yourself. All the advice that you get, is all right. I actually used to demonstrate, what is the cradle, position, how the face should be facing the breast, the nose should be touching the breast, mouth open wide as Zeenal said. But I said, all the technique is fine. But ultimately, it's your confidence in yourself, being, your comfort level. That's important. I feel that too much of advice, too much of technique somehow takes away from, if you know how our player called Virender Sehwag used to play. He was all hand-eye coordination. If you are happy and your baby is comfortable, he or she would drink in any which position that baby is, if he's a healthy term baby, of course. All are talking about healthy term baby. So technique is important, advice is important, but first thing is be happy. Be gentle on yourself. Don't try to reach out too much for advice. Don't go to Google. This is my sincere advice. It creates more problems than, some advice is important, like Zeenal brought out. But ultimately, you are the fountainhead of entire knowledge that is there. I, as a neonatologist who deals with tiny babies who are sick, who have various problems, tiny babies who are as small as 25 weeks or 26 weeks. But the more I know about mothers, the more I know what a miracle it is to be a mother. So trust yourself. So this is my advice. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. That's my advice to all the mothers.
So I think this is an absolutely fantastic thing which you've got in this space, Dr. Saxena, that mothers are miracles. Mom, whosoever you are listening to us, that you have got the magic in you, you have got the power in you, and don't get on too many advices. And people have the tendency that when you are a new mom, they will come and tell you loads and loads of things. Take one day at a time, take one step at a time, you will be fine. And slowly and gradually you'll be able to deal with things. We have experts like Dr. Zeenal, Dr. Saxena, Malwa, who are always there in our community to help whenever you need. So this was a very insightful panel. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we are towards the closure of this panel. If there is any one takeaway you want to give, so I will come to Dr. Zeenal to start with. We can just do a 30-second, give takeaway for our mommies who've joined us today.
Okay, so the most important takeaway is believe in yourself. As Sir said, okay, do not doubt yourself. The moment you start doubting yourself, everything goes for a toss. You are in the driving seat of your baby and your family. So see to it that you're taking the car in the right direction.
Thank you so much. I think that is amazing. Malwa, what is the final takeaway for the mommies which you would like to add?
The reason why your baby wants you and the reason why your baby is crying when you're not there is because he loves you, okay? And she loves you. So make sure that you love your baby back just like he needs you, because you're his whole world. So think about it. You have a child in front of you, healthy term baby, hopefully. And thank you, Dr. Saxen, for doing all those wonderful things for the little babies. But when you have a healthy term baby, that is the best miracle and the best gift you could ever receive and give at the same time. That baby loves you and needs you. And like I said, you've got everything you need. Don't look to Google, look to experts if you need help. And if you don't need help, just remember you have the right to say no. Meaning, I'm fine, thank you. I don't need any more advice from a street vendor, for example, or I don't need advice from a person walking on the street to tell me how I should or should not take care of my baby. Experts, yes. People on the streets, just know that you can say, I'm fine, I got it. Because you got this, Mom. You're the best.
Thank you so much, Malwa. Anything, Dr. Saxena, you would like to add?
I would repeat what Malwa just said and what I just said some time ago. Each mother-baby diet is special. And what your experiences may not be the shared experiences of others. So just stick to what your experiences were. You are special, your baby is special. And two of you put together are very, very special. Just know that you are special. That's all I want to tell.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saxena, and thank you everybody for joining us today. It's a heartfelt gratitude from the team Matu Mom for putting in so much time, and I know how busy you guys are, but still you took out time to add so much value to the community. Thank you very much, and we'll be ending this session. Thank you to all the viewers who were listening to us, and keep writing to us. Your feedbacks are valuable to us. Whatever you want to see and we should bring in the community, we are always there to help. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much for having me, everyone.
So
thank you for being here. Thank you, Dr. Zinal and Dr.
Thank you, Malwa and Dr.
And you know what? Thank you to Kopri for inviting me here as well. Thank you, everyone, guys.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a safe. Bye-bye. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.